Hey everyone, Winnie coming at you here from about 50 k's away from the eastern end of the Nullarbor in Australia, here from the Purple Penthouse. And what I'm wanting to do is just make a few videos. This is the first in a series. I want to make a few videos about the coronavirus just to try and answer some of the questions that people have out there. Look, I know that there's a lot of information that we're being bombarded with at the moment, and it's kind of hard because it's a time when we can't turn off from all that information. We need to be listening to some of the information for sure, but a lot of it seems conflicting and we're being bombarded with it. And so that's why I thought I'd make these videos to kind of summarize and you know, put it into easy terms, and hopefully this might help some of you at least get a better understanding of what this coronavirus is and what it really means. Because knowledge is power, of course. So I'm going to start off with this first video of talking about what the coronavirus is and what it does and how it's transmitted. Because if we can understand that, we kind of won't need the government to tell us what to do, because we'll understand how it behaves and we'll just naturally do that anyway, really. So how is this thing transmitted? What is it? How's, you know, what's going on with this whole coronavirus thing? Basically, it's transmitted through droplets. It's not airborne, and that means if someone breathes out in a room and then walks out and then you walk into that room and breathe, you're not going to catch the virus that way. It doesn't stay around in the air. It's transmitted through these little droplets. And those droplets, the only way that they can get from one person to another is if someone coughs or sneezes into the air and those droplets are breathed in by you, or if those droplets get on something that you touch and then you introduce that into your body. So those two ways mean that if someone's got the coronavirus and they cough or sneeze, those droplets are going to fly out of their body. They're not going to hang around in the air for too long because they're pretty heavy. So they're going to drop to whatever surface is underneath them. Might be a bench top, might be the floor, might be their clothes, whatever it might be. As long as you're not standing within the radius of where that goes, and it's, you know, about a couple of meters, that will depend on if you're inside or outside and a whole bunch of other factors, but you know, if you give it a couple of meters, you're usually pretty safe. If you're within that couple of meters and that person sneezes or coughs those droplets out, then without realizing it, you're going to breathe some of those in and you've got the virus. If you're outside of that and they're coughing and sneezing though, you're not going to get the virus because you're not going to breathe it in. So that's really easy to fix by keeping social distancing, keeping away from each other, not coughing and sneezing all over each other. If you've got the virus, make sure that you cough or sneeze into your hands and then wash them or into a tissue. Now the second way that the virus can transmit is through surfaces. And that means that the person who's got the virus coughs or sneezes into their hands or into the air and it lands on surfaces, or maybe on their clothes. If they cough or sneeze into their hand and don't wash their hands and then touch something, then a little bit of that virus is going to stay there. If you come along and then touch that same thing, then the virus can transmit to your hand. Now you're still not going to get the virus. If you touch something that someone who's got the virus has touched after they've sneezed into their hand and not washed it, you're not going to get the virus. You then have to introduce that into your body. So that means you have to then bring your hand to your face, to your eyes, to your nose, to your mouth, which will introduce the droplets into your body. Of course, you can also get it from kissing people and from spitting and things like that. But it's not out there lurking as badly as what we think. That is why the simple solution is to keep that distance, wash your hands and don't touch your face. You could run around touching 100 people with coronavirus and not get the virus as long as you wash your hands before you touch your face. You could go and touch every surface in the world, and as long as you wash your hands before you touch your face, you're still not going to get the virus. So that's why it's really important. When you're out and about, keep your distance. If you have got the virus or you're sick, sneeze into a tissue. If you're going to sneeze into your hands, wash your hands. What they're saying at the moment is sneeze into your elbow. Better than anything, I guess, and then you're less likely to touch things, but that means the virus is still there. So if someone hugs you or touches that, it's still there. So, you know, we need to be washing our hands. If you sneeze, sneeze into a tissue, put it in the bin. Stay away from people that are sneezing or coughing so you don't inhale the droplets, and try not to touch your face. That's going to keep the virus out of your body. Now, another kind of part of that question is, why is it that why are so many people getting it? You know, why is this such a big deal? Lots of people get the flu every year, etc., etc. And that's true. Lots of people do get the flu, but we have a bit of herd immunity to the flu. Lots of people get immunised, and because we've had flus before, our body kind of recognises a new flu and can deal with it pretty quickly. So lots more of us probably get the flu virus than realise that we get it, because our bodies deal with it before it even makes us sick. That's one of the comparisons that people draw. But the problem with coronavirus is it's new, it's novel. That was the first word that they came out with to describe it. It's a novel virus, so our bodies haven't seen anything like this before. It's got some proteins and in its RNA, DNA, whatever, that our body says, oh, that's a bit odd, I haven't seen that before, it's going to take me a while to figure this out. So that leads to more of us that are exposed to it actually catching it, actually getting symptoms from the virus. That's why it might not be more contagious than other things at all. You're not going to get it. It's not lying in wait for you if you just walk outside. But we are more likely to actually get the symptoms from the virus because our body's fighting harder to try and fight it off. So even that's not the hugest problem about this whole situation. What the biggest problem with it all is, because we already know, hey, we can just stay away from people, we can wash our hands, not touch our face, it's not going to be a big deal, and even if we do get the virus, our body's likely to deal with it for the majority of people. That's not the issue. It's about the issue of everyone getting it all at once. Now with flus, they don't hit everyone all at once. They can hit large populations of people, but we have that herd immunity going on, so not all of us are going to catch it. Whereas with this virus, because none of our bodies have seen anything like this before, it's far more likely that a lot of us will catch it all at once. And that's where the problem lays. Because if too many people catch it all at once and need to be hospitalised, even if they just need testing, even if they just need a little bit of extra medicine, not just talking about the people that die, we're talking about all the range of treatment that people need. If too much of that goes on at once, what it means is that people who are suffering other things won't get treatment. People with asthma, people with infections, people who have complicated labour, people who have heart attacks, people who have car accidents, people who attempt suicide, people who OD on drugs. All these people in life-threatening situations are at risk, because if the medical system is being, too clogged up with coronavirus cases, these people won't be able to get a bed. They won't be able to get the service that they need. As it is already, we've had to cancel some elective surgeries because we need to put some resources into the coronavirus instead. So it's about that timing, and that's why a lot of the measures are being done at the moment. You hear a lot about flattening the curve, which I'll talk about in more detail in another video. But basically that just means, hey, look, we know that most of the population is going to get this because none of our bodies have ever seen it before. We just want to slow that down a little bit so that it's not all at once. It's not all at the same time. So that's kind of where the issue lay. Some other points about the virus. There's no evidence to suggest that it can be transferred through blood at all. So if you've got a cut and someone else's cut, there's no evidence that it transfers in that way. It's just through these droplets which come out of people's mouths or noses or in their spit. There's no evidence to show that it's passed through breast milk, and there's no evidence to show that it passes from mother to baby. This evidence might change, of course, because they're learning about this as it goes along, but at this stage, that's where it's at. No evidence also that it transmits through food. The other point to note is that one of the reasons they're wanting to get on top of it is the virus doesn't particularly like hot climates. Its ability to last outside the body on surfaces relies on it being fairly cold, above 27, 28 degrees, it can't live as long on surfaces outside the body. So that's why you know, the incidence of flus and things like that are less when it's warmer, because they just can't survive for as long in that kind of temperature. So this is why they're trying to ramp it up coming towards the cold season in Australia, where it's winter time, the temperatures are a bit lower, so the virus has got more of a chance to survive longer outside the body and be transmitted to more people. I think that's probably a good wrap for this video. There's so much that I could talk about, but I don't want to overwhelm everyone, so I think I might leave it there. But the real message is, stop the transmission of this so you don't overwhelm our health systems. The way to do that is keep your distance from people, wash your hands, and don't touch your face. It's pretty much as simple as that. I'll be doing a whole range of other videos, so have a look for those. If you found this video helpful, share it with a mate, and don't forget to do all the things that the cool kids do, like, subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll see you next time.